Hi, this is Regina Y Favors with Overcoming Setback series, and so I want to talk about how you should work through the 7 stages of setback. So this is going to give you an introduction to the 7 stages of setback that I created myself, and they are fully explored in my book Overcoming Setback: 5 Keys for Entering, Exiting, Correction. And so it's all about the correction process. To exit setback, you have to go through correction. And to go through correction, you have to receive instruction in order to advance, because instruction or correction is just another form of instruction. And you cannot exit setback without some sort of mentoring, some guiding, listening to your conscience, receiving instruction to move you forward. So this is Overcoming Setback series, working through the 7 stages of setback. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channel. If you are interested in further audio lessons, hit the notification bell. Thank you for listening. So the 7 stages of setback, this is an introduction to the correction process. And yes, it is focusing on setback, but the goal is to overcome setback. And again, the only way that you can overcome setback is through correction. So the 7 stages of setback include the following: missed opportunity, punishment, pain, correction, recovery, restoration, and advance. And so throughout this audio lesson, we're going to go through each stage of setback. So this is the last stage, which is advance, and this is where you should be moving forward. And moving forward is very important, because if you don't move forward, you will stay in perpetual setback. To advance is to move forward in a purposeful way and make or cause progress. Advancing is a forward and continuous movement. There is no doubt about the meaning of the word. It does not make sense to remain in a state of setback when advancement is also an option. If life is filled with choices, then choosing to move forward is also an available option. Advance is the last part of the process of overcoming setback. You know, the thing about advancing, say, for instance, you do understand that you can't live in survivor's mode, and that eventually you're going to have to cross that racetrack finish line into overcoming setback. But overcoming setback essentially still means that you have to sustain that overcoming setback, and not return to a survivor's mode. Now, there are other areas of your life that you still may need to process and work out. And so you can be a survivor in multiple areas of your life. Strange as that sounds, but you could be a survivor still in your finances, but do well in your career. You could be a survivor still in your marriage, meaning that you guys are just basically staying together because maybe you don't have any other options, or you believe you don't have any other options. Usually when there's conflict in a marriage, and no, I have never been married, but I do understand human behavior. When there is conflict in a marriage or any type of romantic relationship, it is usually one party who is refusing to not just change, but see the situation for what it is, and see the hope and what it could be. And that maybe they got into the marriage because they didn't have anything else to do, and then they found themselves stuck, and then they're trying to make you feel bad for the decision that they made to stay in the marriage, when in reality, if you don't want to be with the person, don't torture the person, just leave. That leaving still is an option. I don't believe in divorcing just because you want a divorce. I believe in the biblical view of divorcing, which is called putting away, and that's usually due to some cheating or infidelity, what God would call adultery. But even then, I was talking about this in a different audio, that you can't leave everybody. So say, for instance, your first 1 or 2 partners cheated on you, and then you get this third partner and he's cheating on you. I mean, if you leave that partner, there's 3 people that you've left. And so then you have to think to yourself, okay, no one deserves to be cheated on, but you might be picking people who think they can cheat on you. And so then you're going to have to change your worldview. You're going to have to change how you pick people, because you pick who you know. You pick what you are accustomed to. So if you saw cheating in your household as a child, you might pick exactly the same type of person. So what I want to say, though, is that advancing is a forward and continuous movement, meaning that you don't look back. Don't always think that there's an option of looking back, because if you look back, you could stay back. And so that's why during recovery and restoration, it's important for you to look at your thinking and begin journaling where you see yourself. Because if you can get a vision of yourself, you are less likely to return to places that were toxic, that were not productive for you. And you have to say to yourself that I can continue to win. I think sometimes why people don't always pursue their dreams in a simple way is because if they do, they would have to keep it up. Like if they win in one area, they're going to have to keep it up. And it's much easier. There's a difference between a person pursuing a dream and a person working on a job. The work on a job, whatever you do for that day, is some form of success, but you know you can come back and clock in, do your work, and clock out. Versus with a dream, you have to supervise yourself. You have to manage yourself, manage your temperament, your personality, and go out and get and seek work. And so people sometimes don't want to continue walking because they know the convenience of where they came from. How many times have you heard a person say to another person in an argument, "You don't know where I came from. You don't know where I came from." Well, you should know where you came from, but you shouldn't live in where you came from either. Because that's your mindset. If you're still in that mindset, you don't know where I came from, then you would never leave that mindset. Your body might be in another area, but your mind is way back from where you came from. So that means people oftentimes will get money and think they are a success and that they don't have the same struggles and conflicts that they had before, but they're still, even with money, living in their past. And advancing, it has a lot to do with not only your physical person, but it has everything to do with your mindset. And that it is a forward and continuous movement. You know, think about the walking across country or something like that. Many people have done something like that, and or just one of those desert roads or something. And you know that the north is where all of the civilization is. Your car broke down, right? And you need to walk to go and find a gas station or find help or something like that. Okay, you got to keep it's a forward and continuous movement if you want to advance. Because if you turn around and go back to the car, you're stuck. I think that's a very good visual. You turn around because there's no gas, the engine has blown out, it's hot, there's no water. But if you continue to walk, yes, you're going to feel the heat on your back, on your head, and want to stop. You're going to wish for some water. You're going to be tired in your legs. There's a number of physical issues you're going to have, but the only way out of the setback, the current setback, which is your broke down car, is to walk. And you have to continue. It's a forward and continuous movement until you get to someone who is driving on that road, and you can hitchhike and hopefully not have any problems in that area, or you get to the first sign of a restaurant or any kind of civilization. And so then once you get there, and if you wanted to look back, you can look back. Look how far I have come. Okay, then do that, but don't live there. Because the person who says you don't know where I came from is still stuck in that broke down car. So advance is the last part of the process of overcoming setback. So the goal should be to move to the next purpose in life and to get to the next part of your assignment. If you believe you have been assigned to a person or group, you discover your assignment. You discover what your purpose is and what contribution you are to make in this world. You are usually assigned to a person or people. So I learned this from a minister, Dr. Mike Murdoch, and he said, you discover your assignment in his series about assignment. And he said the difference between you being assigned to a person or to a people can be illustrated in the relationship between Moses and Aaron in the Bible. Moses was assigned to the children of Israel, but Aaron was assigned to Moses. And so you have to know your limits. Moses couldn't manage the people. He managed the priesthood part of that larger vision of trying to get them to the promised land, or back to the promised land, really. And he could manage that, but he couldn't manage the larger vision of the children of Israel and all of their issues and things like that. And so you could be assigned to people. So for instance, I believe I'm assigned to college students. I teach college English, so I'm assigned to college students. Little kids, high school, elementary, they love me. They love being around me. They take to me very well, but I'm not assigned to them. I don't have the same. I would never treat them wrong or anything like that, but I don't have the same passion and temperament and personality. Even though I have a very good personality, I don't have it to teach at that level. I like students who are older and in transition and who have messed up and need to get back on track. And I tend to be a person who catches people up and feel any gaps in their understanding. And so I like them when they have already learned so much or have made a lot of mistakes, and they just need sort of like a guiding hand. And so I feel that I am assigned to college students, and I feel that I am assigned to the community college environment. I have taught at a university, but as a graduate student. And one day I would like to get my PhD and teach a couple of courses, but my main focus, my main purpose, my main passion is at the community college level, because they too are in transition those first 2 years. And I tell students all the time that you are not here just to do your basics. You are here because this is 2 years of planning your transition to the university or wherever you are going to go. And if you have that in mind, that you have 2 years of planning, you won't be so quick to leave the situation. If you look at only, okay, I'm doing my basics, you say, oh, why do I have to do all my basics and everything? I'm tired of this. Why can't I just go to the university? Then you might try to leave out of some sort of fake frustration, because everybody has to do their basics, whether they are at the university level, the first 2 years, or at the community college level. Everybody has to do their basics. But you could fool yourself into believing that it is wasting your time. But if you look at it as a 2-year transition plan, then it's much easier to count off the months or count off whatever it is you need to count off, so that you reach those the end of those 2 years and make your transition. Entangling yourself into distractions will undoubtedly hinder your progress. You will be part of another process that will lead to a dead end, that cul-de-sac that forces you to turn around. When you hit your dead ends, you also expend a lot of energy trying to get back what you lost. So how many times has someone given you directions, right? And they told you exactly how to get there, but you decided that you wanted to go your own way, or you said, well, I already know a better way that I could go, so I'm going to go this way. But you don't know what's going on that road. Maybe that road was clear the day that you went down that road and it was fine, but it may not be clear today. Or the day that you are driving. There may be some blocks, there may be a number of things. So then you have to wait out the process because you took an unscheduled detour, right? You took a path, you got off the original path that would have taken you straight to where you wanted to go, where you needed to go, out of sheer ego. I know she told me to take this street and take this street, but look, I know how to get there. I'm going to go the way I want to go. So now you have to wait in the car until all of the other cars on that road, probably people who also made the decision to go down that road, and that's going to take time and put you late. And then sometimes you can run into a cul-de-sac. Here it is, you thought that that road that you were familiar with was a through road with an outlet, and it turns out it's actually a cul-de-sac. So now you got to back up, turn around, turn left, turn right, back up some more, then try to turn the car to the point that you can drive straight. And so then you got to go back down that road and think about why you made those decisions. So usually I like the cul-de-sac analogy, because then if you think about the cul-de-sac, you hitting a dead end road, a brick wall, then you have to take that flashlight of insight and point to every house and look at where you have made your mistakes, where you made your mistakes in choosing the wrong partner, where you made your mistakes in not staying on a job, where you made your mistakes with your family, where you made your mistakes in education. It just depends. And then you take that long road back to the main road, and then you are able. Then you take that road all the way back to the main street, and the only way you're going to get to where you are supposed to be is to look back at those instructions. See, we don't like instructions sometimes because we don't like the person who's giving the instructions. We get offended. We think, who is she or who is he to tell me something or whatever? I already know. But if you knew, you wouldn't have gotten stuck in the cul-de-sac, or you wouldn't have gotten stuck in the detour. Sometimes the person who is giving you instructions knows their area. They know their geography. They know when trucks come out to fix the road, or they know when there are issues with the adjacent highway. They know what's going on. If anything, they have gone outside of the house to go to the store and have seen the issues on the road, and that's why they gave you those instructions, so you wouldn't have to go through that, right? So it becomes a distraction. You can have other types of distraction, which are people, which can be very obvious anyway, but then doing anything other than what the instructions would have you to do is a distraction as well, and it can hinder your progress. So then you arrive to your destination late, and depending upon what your destination is and what you're supposed to do there, it could be, consequential. That is what distractions are good for, which is to expend energy. So by the time you get to where you get to, you're too tired to care about anything that is going on at that destination. Say, for instance, it was a wedding. Okay, if you had done what you were supposed to do, you would have gotten there, got a little bit of food or got something or whatever, and felt the wonder of the wedding. So now you're so hot and bothered, sweaty, right? Because it was hot and you were sitting in the car waiting until you can get back on the right path. By the time you get there, you don't really care. Your hair is not the way it was when you left the house. It's a number of things. And so expending energy, you got to make sure that you use your energy in the right places. There was a girl I used to know, real nice girl, real sweet girl, but she was draining on my time. And I think with her, I don't know, maybe she needed somebody to talk to, and I gave her some of my time to talk to, but there were times it's like she wanted to talk on the phone for hours. And here it is, I got to do my homework, I got to do a number of things, and you want to talk on the phone for hours, and then she wants to call you 2 or 3 times a day talking for hours. Okay, that takes a lot out of you. Sometimes it can be some very good conversation, but that's beside the point. You still have other things you got to do. And so you never really get anything done of substance when you are engaging in distractions. You may do enough to live and survive, but you will not be the person that an organization requests to get your expert opinion on a topic because you have not mastered anything. So during those first years after the community college, and I had transitioned to the university, during those first years, I just did not become the student that I should have become. I studied in some ways. I was responsible in other ways, but I just did not sustain. I did not sustain studenthood. I got myself distracted. I created distractions. I put boulders and, all types of stuff in front of me that I could trip over. And that's something that I kind of regret. I regret not becoming the student that I needed to become when I was majoring in English. And maybe because I wasn't sure about English, and that I was just taking English because I just so happened to be good at writing, or just explaining things. And so I wish I had had better insight, but I believe I could have gotten that better insight had I not had those distractions, had I not created those distractions. Because the more you stay with the studenthood of you, the more it pushes you towards mastery of understanding particular concepts, things like that. And then it'll confirm or validate some sort of thing in you that says, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. That didn't really happen until I was in graduate school, but there were 4 years of opportunity that I missed because I just wouldn't allow myself to become a student. You are here on this earth to solve a problem. Whatever problem that is will be predicated on your gifts and talents. You have the solution on the inside of you. If you often hear yourself say about a particular problem, I'm tired of this issue, somebody needs to do something about that, then you may be the generational person to solve that problem. And so you represent problem solving, and you are a problem solver. You have to get that in mind. If a person is framing you as a problem, that's false. Sometimes you can cause problems, not understanding the full implication of your decisions, but you are not a problem. You are a problem solver. And that's why when you are going through the process of advancing a forward and continuous movement, that is something that you need to take into consideration. Because just because you overcome setback and get past the finish line doesn't mean that you don't have purpose. You still have purpose. You still have to go and look at your gifts and talents and figure out where you want to take them. It's what I tell students all the time, that your home education, your base knowledge is everything you learned when you were at home to college graduation. So now, where do you want to take yourself? Where do you want to take your head? Where do you want to take your body? And so once you overcome setback and you cross the finish line, you still have to figure out where you want to take yourself. That's why in restoration, recovery, that's the time too to begin thinking about where you want to take yourself. Of course, problems come small, medium, large, extra large, plus size. And people in the retail industry really understand this. They measure their target audience and tailor their solutions to a wide variety of people who can wear a small shirt, large shirt, or plus size shirt. You hardly ever see someone wear a shirt that is 2 times larger than their frame. You would think that there was something wrong with that person. So you wear the dress that fits, meaning that some people will get into things just because they tend to have a good way of processing the information, but really don't have any passion for it. So how many times have you heard people say, my mama wanted me to become a doctor, my family wanted me to become a doctor, but I really wanted to do this? Okay, sometimes you can be very good at something, have a skill for it, even have the talent for it, but you don't feel like it's a gift. And you have to respect the gift. And if it's not a gift for you, then you definitely should not do it, because anything that you don't respect, you tend to trash. You don't do well with. You are not kind to. You take it for granted. You rebound with. And if you are a problem solver, you need to make sure that you have the right tools and strategies and knowledge base in order for you to solve particular problems. Because every problem comes small, medium, large, extra large, plus size. So wear the shirt that fits. Wear the dress that fits. You should know your frame enough to know what it can wear and what it cannot. You should not be confused about the clothing in your closet when you get up every day and get dressed, right? So it's no different than the assignment that you have taken on, or the task that you have taken on. Do your skills and gifts and talents fit that task? Are they suitable for completing that goal? And if they're not, where are the gaps, right? So you want to wear the dress that fits you. You know, like I said, I'm better at teaching community college students than I am at teaching high school students or elementary students. That is not my dress. That is not my frame. And so those are not the clothes in my closet. And teachers will tell you there's a different way that you dress when you are teaching at the secondary level and you are teaching at the post-secondary level. And you can see it in the types of teachers, right? Even if you stayed at the secondary level, you looked at the English teacher versus the gym teacher. It's two different types of dress. The gym teacher is not going to come to gym class with heels and a dress, right? The English teacher should not come to class with jeans and tennis shoes, right? And some little tight t-shirt. Okay, that's not the proper dress for that particular goal of the day. Learning about that assignment is your next course. So if we're thinking about advanced being forward and continuous movement, you are learning about your assignment. And maybe you have learned about your assignment, but you haven't put in all the time to begin to develop your understanding of it. If you continue to get distracted and must retake failed tests, you will struggle to discover your assignment, your purpose, your reason for waking up, and the rationale you must give for living every day. You need to advance your understanding about why you are here, what you are supposed to do, your season for performing and completing the task, and how to pass the baton when it comes time to do so. And that's also limits as well, that you are not here to micromanage everybody and pull at something beyond your capacity. There is a time that you must give over the dream or give over the vision for someone else to manage, right? So that's why it's important to pass tests so that you can be a mentor to the next person coming after you. That's why it's important to know your purpose as you support a larger purpose so that you can pass purpose on to the next person. And then you need a reason for waking up. You need a rationale for getting up every day. There is a belief that masquerades as an assignment or calling, and you will find yourself on that path longer than the path you should be on, because that belief is grounded and rooted in convenience. Anything that is convenient or would take a short time to complete is usually not the calling. It is not your assignment, because your assignment takes extraordinary planning and preparation, humility, trusting God to manifest it after a time, and building the vision brick by brick. And so if you like convenience, if you like the short term, then that means you really don't have vision. You're basically operating with a personal mission statement, but not necessarily a vision statement. And so take some time to look at different examples of what a vision statement is and what a mission statement is. So your assignment is like a building to be erected, and contractors and developers will tell you that the higher you want to build, the deeper you must dig. The ground must be sufficiently prepared to hold the weight of a multi-level high-rise that you can see for miles. Your assignment requires study and the adoption of a mastery orientation. You must master what you will rule over later. So think about this. You know, how many times have you heard a real estate contractor say this, that the higher the building you want to build, the deeper you must dig, so that the ground can hold the height of that building. Well, the higher you want to go in your dream, the longer it's going to take for you to develop, because you got to dig the right kind of foundation. That means you need to tackle areas in your life where you are still struggling with your attitude, with your thinking, with your mindset, with people pleasing, with loving people who don't love you, with falling into relationships without any real focus, with abuse, emotional abuse or physical abuse. There's so many areas that you need to address. You shouldn't get to the height of your success still struggling with certain things. No one should come out of the woodwork and say, oh, you did this to me. Oh, you did that to me. A lot of times while you are a nobody, when no one knows your name and you don't have the pressure of people knowing your name, that is the time to address your situation. Address any situation that you are in. Some situations just can't not be resolved, meaning that no matter what you do to try to resolve it, the person is a provoker, and the person is going to do whatever he or she wants to do to continue and sustain the chaos. So then that means you're going to have to advance away from them. Sometimes you just got to pray for people from a distance. Sometimes you may not be able to reconcile, certain types of relationships you've had. That includes family relationships, because for where you are going, you cannot always take everybody where you are going. And where you are going takes a lot of focus and determination and grit and self-control and temperament and personality. And some people don't want to change from whomever they used to be. And that's going to distract you and push mastery so far away from you that you're just going to do whatever is convenient. And your assignment requires study and the adoption of a mastery orientation, meaning that there's a difference in the goal orientation scholarship. In terms of the psychology literature, there's a difference between mastery orientation and mastery goal orientation and performance goal orientation. Performance goal orientation first is basically doing just enough, not seeking mastery, not thinking that it is really, really necessary. Mastery goal orientation is doing it for the sake of learning it, trying to understand it. So in one way, you are performing and attempting to demonstrate that you are smart in this area, and in the other, you are actually smart in this area, and you can recall major facts, analyze, critically think, that you have learned it for learning's sake, meaning that you have an intrinsic motivation to learn it for learning's sake versus an extrinsic just to perform. All right. Hopefully you gained some insight from this stage of setback. Like, subscribe, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell for more discussions. You can visit YouTube for more content, Regina Y Favors channel. And on that channel are also sections for other YouTube channels I run. You can always send me an email, reginayfavors@yahoo.com. The book will become available October 2021, Overcoming Setback, 5 Keys for Entering and Exiting Correction. Thank you for listening to this audio and visiting the channel. Have a great day.